Hello, welcome to this 25-minute Vinyasa Flow practice. We'll start sitting comfortably. Allow the hands to rest on the knees and just close down the eyes, tucking the chin towards the chest just slightly. And just start to draw your attention to your breath. Noticing the chest rise with every inhale and noticing it fall. And taking one hand over the other at the heart space. And just take this moment to think of something you've been grateful for today. Then taking the right hand onto the left knee, walking the left fingertips round behind you, taking the gaze behind to increase the twist in the spine. And just reach the crown of the head tall, finding length here. And on your next exhale, taking the left hand over the right arm and placing it onto the right knee. Just finding this cross here, tucking the chin towards the chest and taking a gentle pull of the knees here to increase the stretch in the upper spine. And when you're ready, releasing the right hand, keeping the left hand exactly where it is and taking the right hand behind you, taking the gaze to find this twist on the other side. On your next exhale, coming back to neutral, taking your right hand onto the left knee, finding this cross on the other side, tucking the chin to the chest, taking that gentle pull of the knees to increase the stretch in the upper back, and gently releasing both hands. We'll inhale to reach the arms all the way up towards the sky, interlacing the fingers, and as you exhale, tucking the chin towards the chest, seeing if you can reach the arms back slightly. And just releasing the fingers back down towards the mat. We'll walk the hands forward, coming to find a tabletop position. We'll find a few rounds of cat and cow here. Finding movement now. So as you inhale, rounding through the spine, shift the weight forwards over the wrists. And as you exhale, dropping the belly, lifting the gaze and shifting the weight back over the heels. Inhale, rounding through the spine, shifting the weight forwards. And exhale, arch, shifting the weight back. Just finding this fluid movement here. Taking your time. Following your own breath. And when you're ready, coming to find a neutral spine now, finding stillness. Then start to tuck the toes under. We'll sit back on towards the heels and take the fingertips behind you, taking the gaze up high. Just finding a stretch in the shoulders here and in the soles of the feet. Then taking the gaze forwards, taking the hands to heart center to sit up on the heels. Taking a moment to pause. And then walk the hands forward, finding tabletop and just tap out the feet here. And walk the hands forward slightly, take the knees back and just dropping the chest towards the mat. We'll find our puppy pose. So coming down to wherever you feel like you can hold for a few breaths. So your chest and forehead may touch the mat. They may be hovering, but aiming for the hips to be above the knees. This is a deep heart opening posture. Option to bring the chin towards the mat as well. This increases the stretch in the spine. When you're ready, gently walking the hands back in towards you, coming to find our neutral tabletop. Before tucking the toes, engaging the core, we'll inhale to lift the knees an inch off the mat and holding here. Before you reach the hips even higher, shifting the weight back to find down dog. Walking out the knees, bending one leg then the other. before finding stillness, reaching the heels down towards the mat. Just begin to focus on your breath now, centering back in. On your next inhale, taking the gaze towards the hands, stepping one foot then the other to come to the top of the mat. We'll inhale, taking the hands to the shins, finding a halfway lift. And exhale, folding over the legs. Inhale, reaching the arms up tall, coming all the way up to standing. And exhale, taking the hands down to heart center. We'll inhale to sit down into our chair pose, reaching the arms up high, taking the gaze just out beyond the mat. And on your next exhale, just folding over the legs, finding that forward fold. Before you inhale to find a halfway lift, spine is long. And exhale, fold, stepping back into your plank. On your next exhale, shift the weight over the wrists, bending at the elbows, coming to find chaturanga. And inhale, reaching the spine up long, up dog or cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, bringing the left knee in towards the chest, turning the back foot out to plant onto the mat. And inhale to reach the arms forwards and up to find warrior one, squaring the shoulders and the hips here. And exhale, releasing the hands to frame the foot, stepping the left foot back in plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, taking the gaze up towards the hands, stepping to the top of the mat, coming straight up into your halfway lift. And exhale, folding over the legs. Inhale, sweeping the arms back and up, sitting back into your chair pose, our Utkatasana. And inhale, standing up long, taking the hands down to heart center as you exhale. Inhale, finding chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, stepping back to plank, taking your chaturanga, bending the elbows in and hovering an inch off the mat. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, tucking the toes, shifting the weight back, downward facing dog. Inhale, tucking the right knee in towards the chest this time, planting the foot down, rotating the back foot. And inhale to lift the body and the arms high, coming to find our warrior one, squaring the shoulders round to the front and squaring the hips. Exhale, releasing the hands back down to the mat, stepping the right foot back, moving through your vinyasa, so bending the elbows in, finding your up dog and cobra, and we'll all meet in down dog whenever you're ready, so just taking your time here. Inhale, taking the gaze towards the hands, shift the left knee in towards the chest, planting the foot down before you inhale to reach the body high, coming to find a high lunge here. And as you exhale, seeing if you can tap your right knee down towards the mat. Inhale up. Exhale, tap. Inhale up. And as you exhale, reaching the arms long, we'll come to find a warrior two. It's just taking the gaze out beyond the middle finger of the front hand. Just feeling the strength in your legs here. We'll take a bind here, so wrapping your right arm behind your back, taking a hold of the inner thigh, or just resting it on the lower back. And then inhale to reach the left arm forwards and up and over, reversing our warrior here with a bind, taking the gaze up towards your top arm. And as you exhale, returning the arms to find warrior two. Inhale to straighten the leg and reaching forwards first as you dive forwards, coming to find our triangles. The arms are in one long line, taking the gaze up towards the top hand to test your balance. And inhale, bending into that front knee, planting your left hand to the mat on the inside of the foot. Keeping the arms in one long line, we'll find our triangle modification here. An option to stay here, option to take a bind by taking the hands underneath the leg, interlacing them behind the thigh, and keeping the gaze up high. Wherever you are, straightening that front leg, finding a variation of triangle, either with your bind or with your arms reaching out long. And exhale, releasing the hands down, pivoting on the left foot, finding our wide-legged forward fold, dropping the crown of the head all the way down. Both toes are facing the long edge of the mat. And then rotating the right foot out, walking the hands round to frame that right foot, coming to find our lunge facing the back. We'll inhale to reach the arms up long, finding this high lunge. And exhale, tapping that left knee down this time. Inhale, straightening the leg. Exhale, tap. Inhale, straighten. And exhale, rotating the body and the arms, finding our warrior two, facing towards the back of the mat. We'll take that left arm behind the back, finding this bind before you reach up and over with the right arm, reversing the warrior, taking the gaze up with you. And on your next exhale, releasing the arms, finding our warrior two, before inhaling to straighten the front leg and diving forwards, coming to find our triangle pose, so keeping one long line in the arms, taking that gaze up with you. Then gently bending into that front knee, coming to find this triangle variation. Option to stay here, option to take a bind, reaching your right arm underneath the thigh and the left arm around the lower back, seeing if you can interlace your fingers together. Option to straighten that front leg now, coming into a triangle, keeping the bind or reaching the arms out long to find that one long line. Wherever you are, releasing the hands down towards the mat, we'll find that wide-legged forward fold. So turning the feet towards the long edge of the mat and just hanging over the legs here. You can think of keeping a micro bend in the knees just to protect them. And gently walking the hands round to frame the front foot and stepping the left foot back to downward facing dog. Then dropping the elbows down, we'll come to find our dolphin. So finding this down dog position on the elbows, walking the toes in as much as you can, and taking a gentle rock forwards and back here. Just really shifting the weight into the shoulders. And then seeing if you can walk the feet back out and pressing the hands one then the other or both together to find our down dog. And bringing the left knee in towards the chest, planting the foot down, find this lunge position, and then bringing the hands to heart center to lift the body up. Taking the gaze out in front of you, we'll pitch the weight forwards and lift the right leg high, finding our warrior three. Think of flexing the toes down towards the mat, finding one long line from the heel all the way to the crown of the head. Then we're going to take the left hand down towards the mat, rotating the hips, they're stacking one on top of the other, reaching the right arm high, finding one long line, coming into our half moon pose. Feel free to use blocks relax or experiment with moving through Warrior 3 into this half moon. And when you're ready, rotating the hips to square them, taking the hands back to heart center to pass through Warrior 3 before planting the hands down to the mat. We'll come to find our standing split. So just think of reaching that right leg high, taking the nose towards the shin, and then wherever you are, just reaching that right leg back, bending into the front knee. We'll step back to find plank and moving through a vinyasa, all meeting in down dog whenever you're ready. Before bringing that right knee in towards the chest this time, planting the foot down, we'll then take the hands to heart center to lift the body up. Taking the gaze out just in front of the mat, we'll shift the weight forwards, finding balance now, lifting that left leg high, coming into our Warrior 3. So think of drawing that left hip down to square the hips, flexing the toes, really engaging in the core here. And then taking the right fingertips down towards the mat, lifting that left arm high, rotating the hips so they're stacking one on top of the other. We'll find our half moon pose. And when you're ready, gently bringing the hands back to heart center in prayer, squaring those hips before you bring the fingertips down towards the mat, drawing the nose towards the shin, lifting that leg high, and then stepping back with the left leg, stepping back with the right. We'll meet in downward facing dog. You can take an optional vinyasa or just coming straight to down dog. When you're in down dog, bending the knees, we'll jump forwards to cross the legs and coming to seating. We'll take the legs out long, flexing the toes up towards the sky. We'll inhale to reach the arms tall, folding over the legs, wrapping the hands around the feet or the shins, taking that forehead towards the shins. We'll inhale to find length before coming all the way up to seating. We'll then take one leg under, the other leg over, stacking the knees one on top of the other, and then taking a bind with the arms, taking one arm high, the other low, seeing if you can interlace the fingers. And close down the eyes here, finding this cow face posture. You may feel a deep stretch in the hips here. And then gently releasing the hands. It's just switching sides, switching the legs, and then taking the bind in the arms on the other side. Drawing the fingertips towards each other, seeing if they can touch, seeing if they can interlace. And just releasing the legs, releasing the arms. We'll roll down through the spine, vertebra by vertebra, coming all the way to lying. Bringing the feet in slightly and taking the hands down to the mat. We'll inhale to lift the hips high, finding our bridge pose, an option to interlace the fingers on the mat behind the lower back. You can think of shuffling the shoulders under slightly to get more height here. And just coming back to your breath. On your next exhale, releasing the hands, rolling down through the spine. Option to take this bridge pose again, or option to find your wheel. So lifting those hips high in bridge, or taking the hands over the head. And lift the hips high. Just finding this deep arch in the spine if you're in wheel. Remembering to breathe. And wherever you are, just gently releasing your bridge or wheel, coming back down to the mat, tugging in the knees, wrapping the arms around the knees to give them a gentle squeeze. Or hugging the left knee, taking the right foot down towards the mat, and then reaching that left leg up long, taking the hands around the calf or the ankle to draw that leg in towards you. And then releasing that left foot down to the mat, switching sides, hugging in the right knee, planting the left foot down to the mat, and taking a hold of the ankle or the calf to pull that leg in towards you, reaching it out long. Then releasing that leg back down. Come to find a happy baby, so drawing those knees in towards the armpits, taking a hold of the pinky edge of the foot or peace fingers around the big toe. Option to gently rock from side to side as you open the hips here. And then taking the soles of the feet together, finding a diamond with the legs, we'll find our restorative butterfly pose. Turning the palms up towards the sky and just fully surrendering here. We'll come to find our final pose together here. Finding our Savasana, our resting posture. Option to keep the legs where they are, option to take them out long. Just finding somewhere you can fully be at peace for these last few moments. Somewhere that your mind can be still. A place of safety. A place of peace. Feel the earth holding you here, supporting your weight as you float here in time and space. Take as much time as you need in this Shavasana. If you'd like to finish this practice together with me, just gently rolling over one side, keeping the eyes closed, bringing yourself up towards a comfortable seated position. We'll take one hand over the other at heart center. Take this moment to thank yourself for offering yourself this time for your practice, this time for your mind and your body. And I thank you for trusting me with your practice today. The light in me honors the light in each of you. Namaste.